I went through 28 days of abstinence, and here's what I realized. During the whole challenge, I kept a journal. Every morning and every evening, I wrote down my state, my thoughts, my struggles, and my small victories. It was not just about counting the days, it was about observing how my body and mind reacted when I took away one of the strongest habits in modern life. And the more I wrote, the more I noticed details I had never paid attention to before. This wasn't just an experiment, it was a real test of endurance, a test of discipline, patience, and mental clarity. And the impact of this practice was so strong that it split my life into two parts, before and after. Abstinence is not only about giving up physical release, that is only the surface. The deeper level is about attention, about habits, about inner energy. When you practice abstinence, you discover how many of your actions are automatic, how often you respond to impulses without even realizing it. Modern men live in an environment full of temptations. Every screen, every advertisement, every image around us is designed to grab attention and trigger desire. Most of the time, we react to it without thinking. But when you deliberately refuse to give in, you begin to build a new skill, self-control. You learn to manage yourself instead of being managed by outside triggers. This is not about suppression, it is about redirection. Energy that would normally be wasted starts to accumulate, and suddenly you feel a different kind of strength inside you. The first days were the hardest. My mood was unstable. I wanted everything at once. Food, entertainment, distraction, comfort. My brain searched for shortcuts. At the same time, uncomfortable questions started to rise. Who am I really? What have I achieved? What am I actually doing with my life? These thoughts were heavy but necessary. That tension was the first stage of cleansing. It stripped away illusions and left me face to face with myself. On the fifth day, I reached a state I now call inner silence. The constant irritation and restlessness disappeared. In their place came calm, lightness, and a quiet sense of energy. It felt as if I had recovered a piece of control that I didn't even know I had lost. By the end of the second week, the changes were undeniable. My craving for junk food and random snacks was gone. I no longer looked for quick pleasures to distract myself. My focus became stronger than it had ever been. I could sit and write for hours without touching my phone, without drifting away. Normally, distractions would steal my time, but now concentration became my default state. My sleep changed too. I slept fewer hours, but the sleep was deeper and more refreshing. I woke up with energy instead of fatigue. My body asked for movement, walks, training, physical action. My mind asked for new goals. There was less noise, fewer doubts, more clarity. Life became simpler, do the work, and results follow. The third and fourth weeks were the turning point. That was when I realized that I could consciously manage my desire. This was not suppression, it was choice. I could look at an attractive woman and decide how I wanted to see her, as a sexual object or simply as another human being. And that choice gave me freedom. Desire stopped being a chain that pulled me. Instead, it became a resource I could redirect into work, into training, into creativity. What once drained me began to fuel me. This freedom is not easy to describe. It is quiet. Not loud, but it changes the way you carry yourself. You're no longer dependent. You're no longer reacting to every impulse, and people around you feel it too. By the end of 28 days, I had gained more than I expected. My emotional state became stable without unnecessary swings. I carried a calmness that spread to everything I did. Confidence grew. Not the kind that tries to impress others, but the kind that comes from within. People notice this kind of confidence even when you say nothing. My mind was clearer. I could start a thought and finish it without distraction. I could set a goal and move toward it with consistency. Old fatigue and small pains that had followed me for years seemed to disappear. Productivity increased dramatically. In 1 month, I achieved more than I usually managed in 3. My body felt lighter, my mind sharper, and my will stronger. The most important result was control. Control over myself, over my desires, over my energy. And with that control came a new sense of freedom. Freedom from impulses, freedom from dependence, freedom from the patterns that used to rule me without my permission. Abstinence is not punishment. It is not about denying life. It is an experience that strips away the mask and shows you who you really are when the easy options are removed. It forces you to meet yourself without filters, without distractions. And once you see that version of yourself, you cannot unsee it. If you go through even one full cycle, you will not be the same. You will know what kind of strength you hold inside. You will know what it feels like to control your energy instead of wasting it. You will know how different life can be when you are no longer a slave to impulse. And that knowledge changes everything.